Hey guys, Fiber Flirtations here, and today I wanted to talk about single pitch, single row combs in our Valkyrie line. And what these are is they are just one row, there's not two rows, and they are for your multi-coated sheep, something like an Icelandic sheep that has an underlayer and an overlayer. The underlayer is soft and downy, the outer layer is coarse and long. And if you want to keep those together, they will create a more a rougher garment than what you would get if you just had the downy part, but a softer garment than you would have if you just had the outer longer wool. And so that's what these are for. If you want a very authentic kind of what are they called, the shows that you go to, not renovation, but Renaissance type shows. If you want to make clothes for that, something that was a little bit more like that would be pretty true to it. If you wanted something double coated. So I'm going to stack this up and then show you how to use it. And you can also use these for prep for your other fleeces, if you want to just order them. The double row combs will remove debris, and they will order it. In other words, they will order the length of the fiber. It'll hold on to the shorter fibers and leave the long ones. And I'm not practiced with these ones because I do not have any double coated animals. I have used Icelandic a little bit, but not a whole lot. And so these are pretty much just going to comb. These are going to comb and get them cleaned up, but they're not going to remove any of your fiber. So if you're wanting to hold on to every tiny little precious bit of your fiber, these are the combs for you. This is an exceptionally clean fleece, and so I can't even show you that it's removing organic material, but that's what these combs are for, is to remove organic material and just puff your fleece up. But again, exceptionally nice fleeces. It's hard to show how well these combs work on a really nice fleece because it doesn't remove anything. There's nothing there to remove, so it doesn't remove anything. So these are kind of just puffing it up, opening up the locks. And now what you could do with this is you could put it through your drum carder, or you could probably even just spin from this because it's very, very clean, very nice. And this is now just ready to spin. You could turn it into roving if you wanted to, but this is nice enough that you don't have to. At this point, you could take this and you could load it onto your carders if you wanted to make rollags. The only time that I use these is if I want to make rollags and the fiber's already clean. These are not for cleaning wool. These are for turning it into rollags, for woolen spinning, not worsted spinning. They are a tool that I don't use very much because I prefer to spin worsted. But now what you would do is you would load up your comb on the edge again, and this is now clean, so you don't have to worry that it's going to be trapping vegetable matter into it. And these are pretty inexpensive little tools to get all your vegetable matter out if you don't want to do worsted, if instead you do woolen. There are things called flicker brushes out there. They look similar to this, but with a longer handle, and you can flick it, but they're very time consuming. It takes a long time to do it. So if you're just going to be putting them onto your paddle, these single row Valkyries will work better than a flicker brush. The reason you don't see a flicker brush in my package of combs is because when I found the Valkyrie combs, there was no need to have a flicker brush. And the reason that I keep these carders is just as a demo because it's what most people are familiar with. It's not because I use them a lot myself, because I feel like the combs are so far superior that unless you have a real attachment to rollags versus roving, I highly recommend that you get the combs rather than the carders. But that's how nice it'll get that out, and it'll get things opened up again. This did leave them a little bit meshed together. You saw how it kind of opened up like a pom-pom. If you were going to spin from it and you wanted it to be more orderly, a rolag would be appropriate if you didn't want it to be roving. This is the only second cut that I've seen in this whole fleece. But if I had been using double row combs, that little piece of second cut would have been pulled out. You don't want to hear like grinding, grating. You can hear a little bit of friction, but if you hear grinding, grating, you're actually damaging your little combs, those little teeth on there, and so you really shouldn't hear very much of that at all. And there's your rolag. It will not be, it'll be woolen. It will not be smooth the same way that worsted would be, but they're fun to spin from. So if you're interested in these single row combs, these are the fine single row combs. We're buried in a mountain of fiber here, so sorry for trying to disconnect them. These are the fine Valkyrie combs. We carry them in our store. I highly recommend them for cleaning a fleece that is dirty, and if you like woolen and you want to use these afterwards. But these do a great job cleaning. They do not pull out the fiber. They're not going to pull out guard hair. They're not going to pull out fiber. They leave everything short and long all together. If you want something that is going to pull out the different layers, you're going to want something with 2 rows. These are the regular Viking combs. They are for the long wool, so something like a mohair, a Wensleydale, or a Teeswater. That's what you want these for. If you would like to see these and get some advice from us, we will have these videos in links in the descriptions on our Etsy store as well, so that you can find them when you purchase and have them for your own use. Make sure to ask us lots of questions. We can't wait to answer them, and we'll talk to you later.